Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make this one pot spicy Chinese rice with some baby corn and other things. Ignore my plantain, it burned. So we're going to start obviously by putting the pot on the stove, on the cooker. I have eggs boiling in the back. The first thing we're going to do is put some sesame oil into a pan. There's one drop of water there that doesn't want to dry, but I'm just waiting. I'm hoping that by the time I finish pouring the oil, it would have dried up. The next thing we're going to do is fry our veggies. I'm using only cabbage and carrot today because that's what I have. But honestly, any vegetable of your choice would suffice. I wish I had something green in here, but I think I'll make up for that with my peppers. Now we're going to season our vegetables because the rice is not seasoned. So every step of the way we're going to season. Obviously, I use my Cajun seasoning. For me, it's like an all-purpose seasoning. It's amazing. So we're going to bring out the veggies after they have. Make sure they fry and shrink and cook very well. You don't want your veggies to be tasting alive in your rice, okay? Now after we've brought it out, we're going to put more sesame oil. There was no oil involved in cooking the rice, so I'm just going to be using a little bit every step of the way. I promise it's a lot, but it's not a lot. We needed to fry what we're frying. So I'm using prawns and sausages today because that's what I have. If you have chicken, if you have shrimp, if you have, I don't know, but this is what I have today. So we're going to turn this around. If you're using a non-stick pan, make sure you're turning that. I also covered it and let it cook because this sausage needs to shrink and become this brown before you know that it's done. And don't forget that your prawns do not take any time to cook whatsoever. So make sure you're flipping that. And as soon as you think it's done, honestly, because I don't know how to check if prawn is done. I just know because it doesn't take that long to cook. But you can also use your sausage as like a comparison. Once it shrinks and becomes brown, then you bring out your protein. Now we're going in with sesame oil for the last time. I like my rice really separated, really one. And we're frying a bit of things, okay? If you don't want to use as much oil as I'm using, that's perfectly okay. It's not really going to change anything in the recipe, especially if you're using a non-stick pan. So the next step, we're going to fry some onions, garlic, and pepper. And at this step, we're going to put some curry. I don't know why I use curry, but I wanted the color or whatever. So that's what we're going to do. And nowadays, like the bouillon cubes, the seasoning cubes are made of, I don't know what they're made of. It's so hard to open. It's so hard to crush. But I'm using a Knorr chicken, not regular Knorr chicken seasoning cube, bouillon cube. And I put that in there as well, just the one. I know there's two in there. You can save the other one for later. I also got this liquid smoke that's supposed to add the kind of smokiness to your food. I don't know. I also put some paprika. That's what you saw me put now. And then I give everything a very perfectly good mix. I'm going to keep stirring that and keep cooking that because we don't want to be tasting any of that seasoning. At this point, you see I tasted what was going on there and I decided that I needed a little more seasoning. So obviously I'm pulling out my Cajun because like I said, to me it's like an all-purpose seasoning. I'm going to give this another stir. I also added a lot of chili powder. You know I'm filming for TikTok and YouTube at the same time, so if my clips are short it's because I have to turn my phone to film for TikTok and then turn it back for YouTube. So that's my day-old rice from the other day. We had it with some corn, but the sauce, the cleaner took the sauce by accident. So I had leftover rice. That's the reason I actually made this rice, because I didn't know what to do with the rice since the sauce was missing. And it was a prawn, such a good prawn sauce too. Now I'm going to keep stirring and stirring. Like the color will not pop at first, but I promise you the color is there. Just be stirring and stirring. And there's nothing wrong too if you want to just drizzle a little bit of soy sauce if your color isn't coming out. So but I just kept on stirring and stirring and stirring because I knew that there was a lot in that in that mix, and I knew it was enough to get my rice the color I wanted. So just like you see how long I'm stirring, just you're going to keep stirring and stirring and stirring. If you don't stir properly, when you're done cooking, you'll see lumps of seasoning and like white bits of rice when you're done. So when I'm sure my rice is like fully coated, I'm going to put my protein and my vegetables in there and I'm going to give this a mix. I don't think I showed you guys where I covered this, but after you mix it like this a lot, you're going to cover it and let it, or let's say steam, or just let all the flavors get to know each other, because you know a lot of things were fried separately. Now the last step, I already turned my cooker off. So I'm going to put in my peppers. I'm using red peppers and green peppers. And I think there's a bit of onions there. I don't know. But you can see my cooker is already off. I love my bell peppers alive. and looking very vibrant in my food. So I always put them in last in anything. If you see me making egg sauce, anything that requires peppers, they always go in last. Like at this point, I even took it off because the cooker was still hot and I didn't want any additional heat. So I took it off the countertop. If you have some counter space, do that. Take it off and then just keep stirring. Let everybody continue to know each other, but without cooking it and killing it even more. Can you guys see how the rice is not sticking? It's very separated and on its own. I even taste, at this point you can even taste it, but I want you guys to remember that the thing with seasoning is that when your rice is hot like this, it will not be the taste of when it's cooled down. So sometimes when I finish cooking like this and I taste it, I'm like, it could use a little more salt. No, because by the time it cools down, that salt and that seasoning will come out, I promise. Unless you like really seasoned or salty food, go right ahead. So this is me trying to figure out where to put this corn because I'm trying to make it look appealing. I don't know, but the corn wasn't cooperating with me. I also put in my boiled eggs there. I love egg and rice. I don't care how much protein is in my food. I don't care what I'm eating rice with. I have to put eggs. And as you can see, I also have my plantain frying in the bag. The plantain was fine, but I looked away for 1 second because you know when plantain is really overripe and mushy, don't look away. Once it looks like this, bring it out. Anything longer than that is going to get burnt. And of course, please don't forget to clean your workstation. As soon as my pan was off, not as soon as because it would have been boiling, scalding hot, so I waited a bit and I took that off and I cleaned everywhere so that you can enjoy your meal in peace without knowing that there's a cooker waiting for you to be cleaned. So the rest of the video is just a few clips of the food. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. For me, it was really quick and easy. It didn't take a lot. These are proteins that are fast to cook and it's a one pot kind of thing if you remove every other thing. So don't forget to subscribe, make sure you share, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, make sure you leave a comment and let me know what else you want me to cook on this channel. Thank you guys so much for your support so far, and don't forget to check out my main page, Nunu Elixir. That's my regular content. If you're not interested in personal content, that's also fine, but I'm really looking to do a lot with this channel.